Hello, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Heard It Here. I'm Kaylee Mason, your host and beef advocate. Our guest today is a classmate of mine, Cade Hom. Thanks for joining me today, Cade. Go ahead and tell us and our listeners a little bit about yourself.
I'm Cade Hom. I am from Flagler, Colorado, and I'm here for the beef production program and my feedlot certificate. So I've started out pretty much my entire life working on feedlots and in a cow-calf operation, running cattle on grass. I'm here mainly just so I can get my knowledge up for the beef industry, so I can eventually take what I learned from Colby and take it home and either start my own operation or take what I know and what I learn and put it to someone else's operation.
So, do you have your own operation at home, or you've just worked on other people's operations?
So, for the most part, I've kind of worked on other people's operations. So right now, I'm going and getting a lot of grants so I can eventually start my own operation. I already got some ground picked out that I want to eventually buy and own, so I can start running my own yearlings, or I can start running some cow-calf. Just start running some of my own cows and stuff. But I just got to figure out where I want to put it, where I want to go, and just kind of figure out where everything's going to line up.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and thanks for telling us about yourself. We've got a pretty important topic today that ultimately affects every producer in the beef industry. Weaning and preconditioning is a process that plays a huge role in cattle health, quality, and profitability. So we're going to dive into what it is, why it matters, and how it pays off. So, Cade, can you please explain what preconditioning and weaning are?
So preconditioning is so we'll take all the calves, we'll pull them off their mom, we'll bring them up, and we'll put EID tags in their ears, and we'll start giving them shots 3 weeks before we eventually will wean them. And so what it'll eventually do is help us out in the long run with sending them off somewhere else or keeping them in our own herd. And so it just helps them to eventually have a healthier life and just kind of produce and grow better and just help us out in the long run with our calves. Well, weaning is taking that calf away from its mother so then that mother can recover from that calf so we can eventually breed her again and get another calf out of her. And it just helps us to be able to remove that calf away from its mother so the mother can grow and then that calf can start growing on its own.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned an EID tag. Will you tell everybody what an EID tag is?
Yes. An EID tag is basically a little disc, and it's an electronic device that we put in their ears. It's just a little tag, and when you wand over the top of it, it will tell your computer their ID number, and so it helps us to keep track of everything so we can keep records, and basically just helps out the operation a lot easier and a lot better because we don't have to write every single thing down. We can just put it in next to their ID number when we wand them.
So it's really beneficial for record keeping and the history on that.
Yep,
cow.
And when you send them off to slaughter, you can get carcass data on them and see how they grew and how they produced being in your operation.
So weaning is the most stressful time in a calf's life. What is the benefit of preconditioning them, and how early do you need to do it before actually giving them weaning shots and weaning them from their mom?
We want to start preconditioning them 3 weeks earlier before we wean them, because when we wean them, their cortisol levels will be at the highest. And so with their cortisol levels being at the highest, it's just really hard on those calves for them to not have any of our preconditioning shots or just slowly introducing the weaning to them. When you start preconditioning them, that'll eventually help you with selling them in the future to a feedlot or a stocker yard. Just helps you out in the long run with growing your herd or just moving them somewhere else.
With that, what are some management practices that would minimize the stress for both the calf and the cow? And are there different weaning methods?
So one of the weaning methods that we do out at the beef unit is fence line weaning. It's where you take the calves off of their mother and you would put them in a pen right next to their mother, so they can still have nose-to-nose contact, but they can't nurse off of their mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be as stressful, but it's still going to be really stressful for that calf to be pulled off of there and put next to them. So then it helps them just to slowly adjust to it. And it's going to take them 2 to 3 days of fence line weaning before they'll stop bawling and not really care that their mother is right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a bunch of different weaning methods that you can do. There's ones where you wean them off and you take the cows and you take their mothers and you just go somewhere else with them. You take them to another place or across the yard or whatever, and then that calf will stay down there, which it's a lot more stressful on that calf to do that, but it just takes away the fact that their mother is close by. And so then you just move their mother away and you just keep the calf in the same spot, so it's not a new place to them. It's still the same thing.
And there's another method too where you can keep, it's kind of a two-step weaning process where you put a nose flap on the calf so that it can be next to its mother, but it can't nurse. And that way it slowly takes away the nursing aspect so that whenever you do separate them, it's not so sudden.
Yep. And we'll give our calves Therapies, which is a calming drug. It just, you put it on the back of their poll and on the tip of their nose, and so it helps calm their mind and lowers the cortisol level, so then they're not as stressed out. And we'll do that right when we give them their final weaning shot and we turn them out in their own pen.
So what are some long-term health benefits for preconditioning and weaning, and how does that affect their overall feedlot performance?
The long-term benefits that you can have from this is you can have healthier calves and healthier cows, because then the cow doesn't have to support that calf for a long period of time, plus have to try and support another one when we rebreed them. So you're going to have healthier cows and healthier calves because they're going to grow better when you put them in a pen by themselves and just let them eat by themselves. And so when you take them to a feedlot, you've already preconditioned them to eat out of a bunk and drink out of water tanks. And that's the main thing in a feedlot, is there's nothing there to help them understand how to do that. They have to figure it out themselves. So when they're preconditioned, already know how to do it, feedlots will take them and buy them more than buying stuff that's never done any of that. So feedlots will much rather have stuff that's preconditioned that already knows how to eat out of a bunk, drink out of a water tank. It just makes putting them in a feedlot to grow a lot easier. And then beef quality is going to be a lot better because it just takes away some of that higher stress level when you get them into a feedlot of trying to figure out how to eat out of a bunk and drink out of a water tank. You're going to have longer lasting, healthier calves in a feedlot when you precondition them and wean them right.
So then as far as beef quality, if they are preconditioned and they're doing really well at the feedlot, what does that do to the beef?
You're not going to have to give them as much medicine to keep them healthier. Plus, they're just going to grow better because when they get there, they can start growing. They don't have to spend 2 weeks trying to figure out a bunk in a tank. Depends on where they come from. You could start them off a little bit higher on the rations to help them growing better. All of these preconditioned calves that have the EID tags, and you can get your data back off of them and then use that to help improve some of the stuff on your feedlot. And so improve your rations and change some stuff up. So it's just going to eventually help the feedlot operate better, plus you're going to have a lot better beef because the stress levels aren't going to be super high at the beginning. Plus, you're not going to be giving them as much medicine to keep them healthy because they're already going to be healthier calves coming in.
Are buyers willing to pay more of a premium price for calves that have been preconditioned?
Yes. So buyers are willing to pay a good bit more money for calves that are preconditioned because they don't have to put in a lot of extra work. Like cactus feeders, they'll go and buy better preconditioned calves and they'll spend a little extra money. They'll pay a couple extra dollars on the pound just so they can get better calves to bring into their feedlot. So they don't have to put in more time and resources to those calves to make better quality beef for our consumers.
All right, so why should producers care about how calves are weaned and managed?
When that producer takes that calf to the sale, after they precondition them and weaned them off, they're going to get a higher price at that sale from other producers because they're already ready to go somewhere else, to a feedlot or stocker, backgrounding. It's just going to be a lot more cost effective for that producer because they can make more money by preconditioning and weaning that calf off.
So it does cost a little more to do the preconditioning, a little more money and a little more time and labor, but it does pay off because of the premium that they'll get when they go to sale.
Yep.
Thank you for the valuable information today, Cade. So we've learned today that weaning and preconditioning has a large effect over the health, performance, and profitability for the beef industry. That is all for today's gathering on Heard It Here. I'm Kaylee Mason, your host, and we hope we've beefed up your knowledge today. Cade and I really hope you've learned a lot. See you next time for our beef industry advocacy dinner episode. Thank you.